YouTube, what it do? What it do? What it do? What it do? Last stream that I did, apparently my audio was shut off, but 0 people saw it, so I deleted it in time to not have anybody watching the stream without me talking on it. This is the second time in 10 years that's happened, where I recorded for an hour straight, and then I went back a few hours later and watched the stream, and there was no audio. No vocals anyways whatsoever. So embarrassing. It would have been really embarrassing if I had a huge following. So that's why I'm glad I'm doing this now, so that I can pick up on like my little mistakes. But what you see right now is a render from a SketchUp project that I did in 2020. I think it was around 2020. And it was just really for fun, but I built up a portfolio from doing just for fun type of designs inside of SketchUp that ended up getting me some business. Anyways, this is really just about showcasing some SketchUp projects, some renders, architectural visualization. I don't really know where to start, but I'm just going to start. And hopefully anybody that's an intermediate, that's a beginner, that's learning, even if you have some advanced knowledge of SketchUp architectural visualization or 3D modeling and rendering, and you want to start taking this seriously, maybe there's something that I mention or show in this video that can inspire some of you. I'm going to be creating a course teaching you how to use SketchUp. There are plenty of videos out there on YouTube. I definitely suggest like going through some of those free videos, but I'm going to try to dedicate some time to creating my own course and showing some of what like I have learned about SketchUp that I've not seen anyone else teaching before. So, let's pull up this project. This is called 11. I think there might be some pictures on Google of this apartment unit, this high rise. I'm actually going to pull up my browser now and see if I can find it. It's in Minneapolis. So if you just Google 11 Minneapolis, there's a chance that you might see like a floor plan or some pictures of like the kitchen and the kitchen model. Before they actually got rooms booked and had some of the apartment and the units built out, they did renderings, or they did photos of a concept of the place. I think they had it in like a showroom where they built out a kitchen. Where they built out a kitchen in the showroom to show you what the kitchen from the apartment was going to look like. And I saw those photos on Instagram, I think. And I got really inspired to build from those photos this SketchUp project. I'm going to throw those on the screen, those photos, real quick. I apologize in advance if my stream starts to lag with audio as I'm going through some of these 3D projects. So I'm using the same rig to stream and to record this as I am to actually showcase the 3D models. And sometimes when I'm doing 3D work, I'll find that my audio ended up lagging towards the end of the stream. But check this out. So this is technically what it looks like. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of move this over to the side and take my face off of it. This is what it looks like in the photos from their showroom. I don't believe that they had a real kitchen finished and furnished in the 11 building because they were still under construction and they were building it out. But, that's one photo. Here is another. I've got to pull these into my program so that I can just push them up on the screen. Here's another. And then I've got one more that shows a little bit of the build out. And I'm not sure whether or not this was actually inside of one of the units or in a showroom, but it looks more like one of the units because I don't know. It's hard to tell. It looks more like one of the units though. So I'm going to pull this up as well. And these were the references. If you look kind of in that corner, you'll see that there were like some modular options. You'll notice that there are these 3 cabinet doors next to this wine rack, kind of countertop to ceiling wine rack, and these 3 cabinet doors. Okay, and in this one, instead of the 3 cabinet doors, you have 3 shelves that pretty much go up to the ceiling, and then you have like a bread cupboard, I think, under the wine area. So they had some different options. And that's why I think this was one of the showroom ones, because it had a little bit of a different design. And I'm pretty sure to the right of the double oven is going to be a full size refrigerator enclosed in the same cabinetry. Whereas in this image, you see like just an open space, right? And, you know, that doesn't go back deep enough for, I don't think, a full refrigerator to sit flush in there and have those cabinet doors. So it's really hard to tell what's what. But these are the 3 photos that I came across. And from that, I created this. Right. So this is a render from my SketchUp project. And as you can see, I only had 2 shelves. I think I ended up only wanting to use 2 shelves in my design and putting 3 cabinet doors at the top. I don't know that I saw a picture with it like that, but because it's modular, I decided to kind of get creative with it and do something that I felt was more along the lines of what I would do if I had options. Right. So I would put cabinet doors at the top and then use 2 shelves and then keep the bottom open instead of having these cabinet doors like sitting on top of my counter space. So let me turn that off and go back to the project. So this is what I came up with. And this is all done in SketchUp. I got my ceiling turned off, I think. See, ceiling number 1, ceiling number 2. Yeah, had my ceiling turned off, and inside of here I've got some like legitimate some lights. I've designed the lights exactly as they looked on the images that I use as a reference. But you know, these are SketchUp projects pretty much from 2020, and it looks like kitchen. I must have something turned off. Hallway, dining, balcony, electronics. Oh no, I feel like there's something in here that's not on, because there should be some more cabinet like fixtures on some of these cabinet doors that I must have deleted or something. Anyways, here's the project, and because the camera was going to be coming from this side, I added a lot of like small details on the countertop. Whereas if you look at the design from this side, you'll see that there's nothing here. Right, because the camera, you can't see anything from any of the camera angles that I used. Let me turn the ceiling back off. And I had little details around, because here I have a mirror, and if you were to position the camera in any kind of way to see something from that mirror or from this mirror, I'd want anything in the background to look like it was staged in a way that suggests that there's actual life in the building, like people live here, right? So little things like that. There's a picture of my son on an iPhone, like a pretty fairly detailed iPhone model. If you know, I got a picture of the counter, you'll see I have a really detailed laptop model, and it's a little bit unnecessary for architectural visualization, but it definitely adds to it adds to like the selling point of realism when you start to consider, like, if you actually lived here, if you look around your house, you've got things out in different places that suggest that you live there or other people live there. And what are those things, and where are those things sitting? For example, in the kitchen, we've got some outlets where we have things plugged up into the outlets, right? So because we have outlets in different places in the kitchen and things are plugged up to them, I consider those details and I add those into my designs. And that helps me kind of sell the realism. So here again is the render. One of the renders. I have plenty of renders, but again, when you go down and look into the kitchen, you'll see like there's some chairs that were out of place. And if I had my laptop sitting on the counter, that probably means that I've recently been sitting in one of the chairs, right? So I just kind of staged the scene as though there's is or was activity very recently in there. And I consider those things when I'm creating projects in SketchUp. All of this was natively done in SketchUp. I'm about to start learning Blender. I haven't started learning Blender yet. Also, I do a lot in Unreal Engine and some other 3D programs. I have 3ds Max. I have Maya or Maya, however you want to say it, as well as Cinema 4D and all these other programs. But I just love the simplicity of how SketchUp allows for me to do like some real basic shapes for architectural visualization. And I think that's a great way to start with, if you're wanting to create realism in any, I forgot to turn the picture off. If you're wanting to create realism in any of your applications, and I don't mean like application like software, but I mean in what you're applying 3D to, this is a great way to start because it allows for you to use real life measurements and, render images to kind of see how photorealistic you can make, real life things. You have real countertops in your house as a reference. You have baseboards and doors and doorknobs and windows and electronics and other things in your house that you can use as a reference to stage your designs, right? And that's something that you want to consider when you're getting into 3D for the first time, is being able to have and use a reference. I even go so far to build components that I can interact with. I've got a bathroom here. It's not staged. I got a little light in this room. The room's not staged, but I've built out all the doors and I've added some fake lights in these rooms so that the lights can spill through the doors and create a little more believable, like living atmosphere. There's a light right here for this bathroom, but there's nothing in the bathroom. And I've got the door open. There's some gaps underneath the doors that allow as well for light to spill through them. So I'm thinking about these as I'm creating these assets. And, if I go to interactions, let's see, tools, let's see, camera tools. It should be under tools, I think. It's probably just the letter I. Camera, draw. See, I haven't used SketchUp in so long, and I'm just now jumping back into it. Really, it's been since 2020. But let me just try the letter I. Yeah, I don't know what happened, where it went. Model info, draw. Animation. Yeah, I don't know what happened to it. Where is it? And it's a possibility that I have something turned off. All right, let's go to my extension manager real quick and see if there's anything in here that is supposed to be turned on that isn't, which I don't think there is anything. Trimble scan essentials. Don't know what that is. Sketch Plus. Yeah, I think all of these are added and extra plugins. Okay. Well, unless I'm blind, I'm gonna have to Google this real quick and see what I'm missing. And it's possible that I don't have any interactions in here. Well, I do. I know for a fact that I do. So it should just show up. Right? All right, something to figure out. Sandbox? No. Camera, perspective, view, components, edit. No. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know where it is. It's like it deleted itself or something. All right, let's see if we can find it. Images. And here, oh no, that's intersect faces. That's not what I'm looking for. You'd expect there to be like an easy to find option. Photo on Google or whatever. Okay, let's try opening a different project and see if it pops up. I've got several projects here, so I'm going to choose this one. And it's possible that I like installed something that hid it or moved it. Yeah, it's super weird. So let's go to Scene Interaction Tool, VA Object ID. There has to be something simple that I can click on to activate the interaction tool. I wonder where it is. I don't know. Okay, so let me go to Extension Manager and search for it. Yeah, I don't know. Super strange. But I should be able to, let's see, Shift I, Control I. No, Alt I. Huh. I wonder what happened. Okay. Super weird, but maybe we'll try that in another video unless I can figure out how to fix that tonight. Component. Yeah, super strange. Let's Google real quick. Sometimes that's what we have to do is just go to the good old Google. Dynamic Components Toolbar. Okay, so window, tray, let's see, manage trays, default tray, components. And I don't think that really tells me much, but close. Yeah. Hey, look, we have to learn something new every day. Sometimes just things break, things get hidden. Super weird, but it is what it is. Let's see if we can just solve this in the next 5. And if not, we're just going to go on to the next thing. Because I think this is a big part of what you're capable of achieving inside of SketchUp. So, edit component. Yeah, this is weird. I don't know what happened. Okay, we'll move on to the next thing for now, and I'll try to fix it in a minute. But here's another project. This one was of my girlfriend at the time, her apartment complex, her apartment bedroom. And I used that as my reference for designing this project. And one of the important things about getting into SketchUp and being able to stay kind of organized as you're working through building or staging a scene is using your tags. Inside of your tags, you can turn on and off different assets. So let's see, we've got several things that are, accessory, update ceilings. Accessory needs to go in its own little spot, as well as, let's see, ceiling tiles, ceiling fixtures. Okay, that's it. So I can turn these different tags on and off so that I can be able to see and hide different things. For example, I'll put this Amazon Echo inside of, okay, it's already in something. It's in electronics. So let's turn off electronics. Let's put this lamp. Oh, okay, lamp is under lights. That makes sense. And I would imagine these should also be under lights. Right, so you can use tags to really help you accessorize and stage your scene. You got items in furniture, so let's turn all of our furniture off. And then you've got decor. I think let me turn off the construction, the walls. These I'll put under accessory, or we got dog. We do have dog. So I'll put this under dog. All right, and that way it's a lot easier for us to be able to kind of see what's in our scene. So curtains can potentially go under decor. Let's see, windows have their own tag as well. Awesome. So let's turn windows off. Let's see what else is in here. HVAC, fire. We've got the floor. And I think I'll put under electronics. Actually, we'll create another tag called outlets. All of our plugs and switches. We'll put under outlets. And then I can hide the floor. All right, then all we have left are like some of our reference pieces that we used, that we hid inside of the scene. All right, so tags. Tags are a great way to keep your project organized. Turn our floor back on. Let's turn some of the construction elements on. Let's turn off the ceiling, maybe in the walls. And we have our doors here. All right, so I included some things that allows for me to be able to interact with the doors. I don't know what has happened with my program to where my interaction tool seems to have just disappeared. So let's go to toolbars. This should be under, let's see, toolbars, camera, solid tools, views, standard. Let's say standard. No, we don't need that. Solid tools, shadows, section, sandbox. What's in sandbox? Don't know what's in there. Principal. Okay, makes sense. Measurements, location, large tool set. Let's see what that is. We're just trying to find one tool. All right, let's see here. Look around. Yeah, this is super weird that all of a sudden when I'm live, I can't find my tool. One tool that like kind of makes all the difference. Well, all right. That's super strange. New. Interact. And wait a minute. Oh, okay. That's funny. I thought I found it, but it was exactly what I called. So here's what I'll do. I'll go to preferences and we'll go to shortcuts. Let's search. It's got to be gone. Okay, so here's what I'll do then. Go to extension manager. Let's turn on all of our SketchUp official and Trimble official tools. Dynamic components. That's why I turned off dynamic components, and that's where it was. So I could disable these, apply changes, and if we go to tools now, we have interact. There it is. Found it. 5 minutes. Didn't I say 5 minutes? I think I said 5 minutes. So now if I click on this door, it opens. Not just because it's a door that opens, but I designed this asset to be interactive. So I click it once, it'll open like 15 degrees, I don't know. Click it again, it'll open again a little bit more. Click it again, it'll be closer to like 75. Maybe that's 45 degrees, I don't know. This one's 90 degrees. And let's say I turn my walls back on. And as well as, let's say everything else, ceilings, windows, outlets. Let's bring the full thing back in here. Curtains, accessories. All right, so when I'm rendering a scene, I might want to make this look a little more lived in. So I'll maybe open one or more doors depending on my camera angle, and, just to get a little bit more in the shot. Okay. And I go, I may also consider adding interactive elements to where I can switch on and off lights. And that's something that I'm going to add into these courses, so that when I'm building these projects for my clients, but also teaching how to build architectural visualization um, projects for, let's say I'm teaching you how to build this for your clients, you may want to kind of add that level of realism that goes, it's so real and it's so well incorporated that it goes unnoticed. And you may be rendering a light scene, a lit scene, or an unlit scene, or using different light schemes. And based on those light schemes, you may have one or more light switches turned off, for example, right? So those are things that I look at to say, okay, if I go and press this button and turn this light switch on and then enable one of these tags, I'll be able to render out what the scene looks like with overhead lighting versus having the fan turned on or off, right? So just those are small details that gives my project life while the program does this auto save and freezes the damn computer for 5 seconds. Okay, so there is another project, and I'll add little details in there inside of the picture frames. For example, this one is of me and my girlfriend at the time, anyways. Okay, so really cool, like just attention to detail. And let me show, I guess, one of the renders from this one, if I can find it. So 3D Projects, unsorted renders. Maybe I have a render on standby that I can use. And these are probably going to be super dark because I wanted to do a little bit of like photo realism in these renders with some low lighting. All right, so there's one without the fancy ceiling and without a lot of the additional accessories and paintings on the wall. Here's one that's a little more finished. And I use some realistic lighting for that one. Here's one more. And this is all done in SketchUp. The ceiling was a little just like overkill. I was bored. I wanted to see how, what something cool could look like. Just to showcase, hey, I can bring your bedroom into this program and create like a dream version of it. If you had the chair that you wanted, the photos on the wall, the canvases and different designs, this allows you to stage your room and decide what to or not to buy. Right? So really cool concept. I believe that she actually did have this chair. Some things you can find on like 3D Warehouse. My son was there with us at the time, and he had toys laying around. So, I would add little elements of life in there relative to the things that we owned. Her TV was actually on top of this stand. But I decided to mount it to the wall. And I used a real like mount. Right? So you want to try to be as realistic as humanly possible. All right, so my interact tool, I now figure out why it was hiding from me. If I go to Extension Manager, Dynamic Components, Apply Changes, now I can go back and interact. All right, so different doors, I had like a outdoor lighting, and when I have the ceiling turned on, you can't see lights unless they're coming from the windows. Right, so I would open up the door a little bit to allow some light to spill from this, what would essentially be a corridor if I had designed the external. But because the camera can't ever get out there and see out there, I wasn't going to put too much energy into that. As well as these doors, they are interact. You can interact with these as well. Right, so I would open some doors up. I would open some windows up depending on what I wanted the scene to look like. And through the ceiling, you can't see these blinds, these curtains. So I didn't have to design them to operate properly. I just needed to design them to where they did enough of an operation for me to be able to dynamically change the lighting. So let's turn on the ceiling. And then as you can see, now we have our ceiling and we have our external like porch ceiling out there as well. I was able to open and close these curtains dynamically just by kind of configuring some settings and using a little bit of math to determine like the placement of these blinds on a particular axis, right? And that allowed for me to be able to create this kind of dynamic look and feel if I wanted to see what this looked like during the day, but with the curtains closed and some of that, dusk or afternoon or like early dawn lighting coming through the cracks of the windows. That was a really good way to showcase different lighting depending on the placement of this particular condo inside of the 11 building, right? So if the sunlight's coming from a particular side of the building, I can give different renders from different times of day with and without the curtains open, or with the curtains opened or closed. And that would help someone that is staging an environment or planning on potentially moving to this place be able to see what this place looks like at different times of the day. And I got a few more projects I'll showcase. Here's a fun one. So this is a concept of a Riverside Drive condo. And, it's supposed to overlook the Hernando de Soto and Mud Island. And really, I think this one is like very close to, I can't tell if this is overlooking the island. But if I bring up this project in SketchUp, you will notice that 90% of what you see, 100% of what you see out of that window is actually not real. So if I go back into here, this is basically what my camera angle is right here. And I've probably got a little bit of a wider lens, giving me a little bit of a different perspective of this room. But outside of this window, you'll notice that I just have a really big photo of downtown Memphis. All right, and out here you can see Mud Island. Here is the Bill Street Landing, and here's the street. So technically this is from the perspective of Tennessee Street on Riverside Drive downtown in downtown Memphis. If I go to one of my camera angles, this gives you the basically perspective from the top of that hill, right? And then because there's nothing that the camera can see behind this bed, let me see, ceiling, turn the ceiling off. I don't have any doors or closets or anything built. I just built enough to be able to showcase what this particular perspective is going to look like. And then I've added some minor details into the design of this bed to be able to give a little bit of realism, right? To show that it's not just one solid flat piece of wood, as well as some details on these walls back here. All right, I don't know if you can see that from the stream, but you got these little holes cut into the walls and in the corner to add some visual detail. All right, to kind of break that wall up a little bit in the light. All right, and then the rest is really about texturing, adding good textures and materials. I've got a really great material on this floor right here. And if I go back to the image, you can see that specular, how the light bounces off of the floor, but also you can see a little bit of the detail in the material that I'm using there. Right, so these are all projects from 2020. These are personal projects not done for clients, I do have one that I did do for a client, and I'll see if I can find and open that one in a bit. But that's it. I designed just enough in this project to be able to showcase what the camera sees, right? Which is from this scene right here. I can see the plant, the chair, the side table here. So I put something on this side table, a little pair of glasses right there. Some lights. You can kind of see the light spill from behind this bed. And I just did a little bit of staging to help bring this project to life. All right, so I add all of my detailed elements to these areas that are a little bit closer to the camera. Let's see. Then you'll see I have some space between the bed. A lot of people, when they design in SketchUp, they put things like very close together, and you got to realize, like, if you look in your bedroom, your bed might be touching the wall at the baseboard, but maybe it's not touching the wall like from the top of the baseboard up. So look at those details and try to design something similar. I'll be happy to review any of these other designs that I have with you guys, and I would love some feedback. Let me know what you're interested in seeing in some of these projects, and I'll start making more videos showcasing my methodology of doing 3D design. I hope that you guys enjoy some of these streams that I'll be doing moving forward.